What's going on, guys? This is Dave here with HDR Performance. Today we're showcasing one of the many tools we offer. This one is called Mopar Tuning Buddy. Whether you're an experienced tuner or just getting started, this software is to help you streamline VE fuel corrections, table editing, and exporting and making it all easier for you to understand with HB tuners. So let's jump right in and take a look. So I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to use the HDR Mopar Tuning Buddy. What this is made for novice tuners, but also professionals who are trying to increase their workflow, making it simpler, making everything easier. Okay. So first I'm going to start off by showing you how to import your VE tables from VCM editor. On the Mopar platform, you're typically going to have speed density tables. You have VE bank 1 and VE bank 2. These are separated values per bank. You're going to want to open it. You're going to go Control All, copy with access. Okay. You're going to come back to the Mopar Buddy and make sure you're on bank 1. You're going to come over here, Control All. If there's any data in there, clear it. Paste in your table data that you have currently. And we're going to repeat the step for bank 2. So we have a demo log and demo VE analysis pulled up to show you how it works. The log will show you in live time where the cell path is tracing over the matrix. That way you can get a good visual of where you need to make your adjustments, and you can make them manually if you needed to. So typically you're going to see this reference table. So when you paste in a table, it's going to have a reference table under it. This reference table can also be displayed here in relation to the table that you're editing. And you can see this in a 3D surface view. You can separate that view further to get a better visual of what changes you're making over the original. As an example, we'll undo this real quick, but you can do different smoothing options, clean up your table, and you can see the visual differences between the pasted in table and your new table. Okay, we're going to undo those changes, leave it back to here. Okay, so we're going to link the bank 1 and bank 2 tables together, so anytime we make a change on one table, it's going to also make a change on the other bank table as well. Okay, the reason why we do that, if we're going to have our calculated changes imported, and they're going to be different between bank 1 and 2. As you can see, the math is not the same. You have different percentages from bank to bank. So anyways, we'll show you how to get this in. So in VCM Scanner, you're going to have a data log. Okay. This data log, in order to get it to work with our software, we're going to need to export it into CSV file format. So we're going to go over here, comma separated CSV, entire log, interpolate data. Okay, export. We'll name this one 9. For example, we're just going to save over this one. Okay, then we're going to come over here to our Mopar Tuning Buddy. We're going to load HB Tuner CSV. We're going to select 9, open it. Okay, now that log is active. I already had this preloaded, but I'll show you how this works. You're going to want to open up your bank separated VE analyzer. Okay. Right now, the logic we're using in those tables is bank 1 and plus bank 2 variance. Okay. If you don't want to make super large changes depending on which Mopar you're doing, you can just stick with long-term only. If you're tuning a newer Mopar where you have wide bands installed, you can use the long term plus the short term, which will help you calculate the wide open throttle stuff a lot faster. Or if your long terms are good, you can just go to the short term by itself, bank to bank separated. So as an example, if we use long term only and we analyze the tables, you can see that those values are a lot less. There's almost no change in the long terms in these ranges. It's very minimal, definitely within range. So we're going to go VE analyze, and if we only want to make a part of the correction versus 100% of the strength, we can change that as well. So if you want it to be only half the correction that the ECU was recording, you can drop that down to 50%. We'll go long term plus short term. We'll analyze both. And now you can see those are half the percentage values. So you're not making as big of a change at once. Now you have the ability to apply this individually per table. So you can go apply all, and then you go to bank 2 and you go apply all. But if you just want to do it in one simple step, you can just apply it from here. There are other filter weights you can require as well to get that data. You can increase the amount of cell hits or the minimum RPM and the sample trim percentages. So for example, we're going to go to apply to both maps directly. Okay. You're going to see there's our changes, and it's going to show in here in these areas that have color changes or where you have percentage changes. We also have the ability, instead of just selecting these areas, you can also select it from down here in the zones where you have your cell changes, and you can easily interpolate if you wanted to make those changes easier before you decide to do smoothing. We have multiple smoothing algorithms, okay, and we're going to show you how this works. So right now the banks are not linked together, so we're going to link bank 1 and 2 together. As you can see, you have different changes between both banks, but if I make a change to this bank, it's also reflecting on this bank. That way you're not ever going to have an issue when you're doing percentage changes per bank, or you're doing smoothing per bank, or interpolating. It'll copy those changes from like the way you're applying the change to both banks on their own fuel adjustments. Also, we have different strengths of filtering. So we'll do undo for that, and it's going to undo for both of them in this situation. Okay, well, you have to go back and forth and do them undo individually per bank. Okay, so it's not going to link the undo, which I can fix that in a future update. So if you just want to do minor smoothing, you can go very light, okay? And it's going to take a lot to make these table values change. So as you're seeing smoothing, and this is really good for fine tuning. You only need to click it a couple times and get it within range. But if it's really out of range and you know that it needs to be a larger change, you can increase that value. We can go medium. You can see it made a bigger change, and if you go strong, it's going to make very big changes to smooth out that table. But it's always better to have a smoother transition in your table. But you also have to be very aware that you're not going out of your fuel range. You might have brought up or brought down other cells around that you didn't need to initially. So just be mindful of that. If you're not a professional tuner, you definitely need to show this to your tuner or have a tuner verify your changes before you go any further. But this software was initially designed to help simplify that process for people who don't fully understand it. So not only do we have the playback feature, okay, so you can play the log back, you can kind of scale these up, scale them down. You can go to 2D or 3D wireframe, so you can see them both in wireframe variances. You can go just to the edited version like this, or you can bring it over to the 3D surface. You can see it like that. We also have 2D tables if that's what you're interested in as well. If that's how you like to tune, you can see the tables in 2D. So before and after, you can see them pretty easily. So we'll go back to 3D surface. During playback, you can also see the log in live time, and you can fine tune and zoom in on the log where it's at. You can kind of run through it. You can see your values. A lot of these for the Mopar are going to be pre-configured, long terms, short terms, fuel percentage changes, knock, all those things are going to be pre-configured for you, where all you have to do is you import your log and you can kind of check those things out. You also have the ability to set up custom tables, and you can basically paste in any table values as long as you have it configured correctly, and you can trace it, follow it, things along those lines as well. We also have Spark as well. We have a knock analyzer capability, so if you have knock in your log and you have your Spark tables pasted into here, which there are a few, you have your cold start, part throttle spark, watt, and maximum brake torque spark. You can configure and save all of these tables at once, analyze it with the VE, and see where you need to make knock table change corrections. Just quickly and simply, this is really good for just a quick reference when you're tuning these vehicles. Once you make your fuel changes, okay, we'll go back to bank one. Once your changes are done, you're ready to apply that to your table. We're just going to make this a little smoother just for visual effect, okay? We're going to go strong, smooth this table up. And then we're going to go copy selected cells. Okay, all the cells that are selected, go copy. Come over here, paste bank one. Let's look at it. Okay, Control Alt V. And then we'll do the same thing on bank two. Now we got our changes done, and then you can flash the vehicle for the fueling. Also, you have the ability to save a project. That way you can reference it quickly. You can open your project later. Also, we offer over-the-air updates. So if you have your proper sign-in information, which you are assigned if you purchase the software, I will provide you with the link to the update portal. You can go check for updates. Okay, update is available. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop the log. We're going to go check download update. You have to have your user sign-in information first before it'll allow you to update. Downloading installer. We're going to skip and install. Well, let's save the project first. We'll save it as test. Save project. And now it's going to install the update. Look at that. Newest version up and running. And that's all it takes. And then we're going to go open project. We'll open the last one, test. And there we are. Okay. So there's the reference pasted in table versus our current table. Let me see, what else are we missing here? Let's see. And once you're done, you can set current as reference. So if you wanted to, when you're done, you know these are the current table changes you have applied in your tune. Click apply as this is reference. So it's going to make your current table your matching reference table. That way, when you go to update the next time, update your tune from another log and import it, you're going to be able to make your changes and make it simple and hassle-free. You also have the ability to select cells. You can hit your number pad, make your changes. Let's say you want the value to be 60. You can apply it. It's that easy. But this whole point of the software is to kind of streamline and make it as simple as possible for new tuners and advanced tuners to analyze data faster and increase their workflow. Thank you for watching. This is David with HDR Performance. We'd love to hear your feedback. If there's any software improvements or anything you'd like to see, let us know, because I'm committed to continue to make improvements based on customer feedback. This is Dave at HDR Performance. I'll see you in the next one.